This is from Media Matters. Broadcast news shows ignore Trump coup memo. A well-respected lawyer in Washington created a memo that detailed a 6-point plan to installing Donald Trump as a dictator and overthrowing the U.S. government. I covered this on my show either the day of or the day after it leaked. Ostensibly left-wing, centrist Democrat television networks ignored it. They don't care. January 6th is old news. Again, I want to reiterate, the 14th Amendment, particularly Section 3, states that those who engage in insurrection or give aid or comfort to those engaging in insurrection are banned and expelled from ever holding office, either state level or federal. That's in the Constitution of the United States of America. The Constitution of the United States. Democrats, they don't believe in the Constitution. Republicans, I mean, goddamn. Of course they don't. Democrats had a majority in the House and Senate and the presidency, and they refused to enact the Constitution. They ignored the Constitution. No, 0 Republicans have ever faced consequences for January 6th. Marjorie Taylor Greene still there. Lauren Boebert still there. Madison Cawthorn, who said openly he's planning a second attack on the Capitol. He said that at a fundraising meeting. He said, it's on tape, I covered it on my show, that he is planning a second January 6th. They're openly plotting a second insurrection. And there is a 6-point plan by the Trump administration in how they were going to overthrow the government. And yet, the Republican Party hasn't been expelled from Congress. We still have 50 Republicans locking up the Senate. Well, 52, when you really think about it. We still have almost half the House of Representatives. Why are they there? Democrats flubbed a chance to expel the entire Republican Party and then pass a sweeping pro-democracy, again, even if Joe Biden, whatever, they could have done anything they wanted. They could have had one-party control of all of American institutions. The Constitution let them have that opportunity, and they failed. And now they're just covering up how bad January 6th was. They don't care anymore. They want people to forget. Because every time people remember about January 6th, they think, what did the Democrats do? Nothing. The ABC, CBS, and NBC morning and evening shows broadcasts have all ignored the revelation that one of then-President Donald Trump's lawyers authored a memo laying out how Trump could effectively pull off a coup. John Eastman, a member of the conservative legal establishment who worked with Trump's legal team as the then-president sought to overturn the results of the 2020 election, wrote the document in the days leading up to January 6th, counting of electoral votes. His plan lays out various ways then Vice President Mike Pence and congressional Republicans could use the event to subvert. It literally names Ted Cruz, Rand Paul in the memo. They're still senators. How have they not been expelled under the 14th Amendment? They're still in there. How? How is Josh Hawley still in the Senate? How is he not in jail? Could use that event to subvert the election, ensure that Trump remained in office, and terminate the American experiment with the democratic rule. Now, again, I don't believe that America's ever been a democracy. If you know anything about the history of this country, you know that. That being said, I also don't want to see a fascist overthrow of the government anytime soon. Reporters at the Washington Post and CNN obtained a 2-page version of the memo, which CNN published on Monday. On Tuesday, CNN reported that Eastman claimed the document was a preliminary version and published a 6-page version dated January 3rd that the lawyer had provided. The longer version lays out a series of alternatives using Trump's campaign's false claims of widespread voter fraud and illegal blah, blah, blah. Bold certainly Eastman comments in the memo after laying out the plot. But this election was stolen by a strategic democratic plan to systematically flout blah blah blah. The story has been widely covered on CNN and MSNBC. But the broadcast evening and morning shows, which generally have larger audiences, particularly in the evenings, have ignored it. As of this posting time, the memo has not been mentioned on CBS Evening News, CBS Mornings, or NBC Nightly News, or Today, or on ABC's World News Tonight or Good Morning America, according to a Media Matters review. One of the biggest bombshells in regards to January 6th, crickets. They don't care. In fact, the only national network broadcasts that mentioned Trump's coup memo were the late-night variety shows hosted by Jimmy Kimmel, Stephen Colbert, and Seth Meyers. Eastman's memo was part of an extensive effort by Trump, his lawyers, and his supporters in the right-wing media and in the Republican Party to delegitimize and reverse the results of the 2020 election. Folks, I want to be very clear. The fact that this article doesn't mention the 14th Amendment in and of itself is a problem. Am I the only person that has read the... I feel like I'm in the Twilight Zone. Am I the only person that has read the Constitution and knows what the 14th Amendment says? How come even media criticism, like Media Matters, how come they are ignoring the 14th Amendment? They should have all been expelled from Congress on January 7th. But they weren't. The media, covering it up. They don't care. They're going to let Trump run again, give him some great ratings. He's going to win. And then the American experiment as we know it is over. That's what's going to happen in 2024 at this rate. Look at Joe Biden's presidential agenda. It's in ruins. It's not going to happen because members of his own party are stupid and they don't care about what 80% of Democrats want. 80% of what voters want in West Virginia. They don't care. The United States is crumbling. The empire is collapsing in real time. We are witnessing the collapse of America. Is America going to last into the 2030s? I would be shocked. I will be genuinely surprised if in October of 2031, I'm sitting here on my live show talking to y'all in the United States of America. I don't think it's going to happen. Every step of the way, there's been no accountability. The 14th Amendment clearly states, if you give aid or comfort or engage in an insurrection against the United States, you are expelled from Congress or wherever and banned from ever holding office again. Municipal, state, federal. You cannot ever be elected anywhere ever again, according to the 14th Amendment. They wanted to prevent a second civil war. And now, the party in charge that almost lost the entire country due to the opposition party are covering it up. They don't care. They don't give a fuck. They don't give a fuck. Cori Bush introduced legislation to call upon the rest of Congress to just read the Constitution, look at the 14th Amendment, and act accordingly. Pelosi ignored it. She doesn't give a fuck. Joe Biden ignored it. He doesn't give a fuck. Chuck Schumer ignored it. He doesn't give a fuck. They're all fucking corrupt. Cable news doesn't give a fuck. They loved using January 6th for ratings when it happened. They loved covering that impeachment of Donald Trump. But when it came to actually pushing for things, constitutional mechanisms that could actually help this fucking country, they didn't want to do that. They're fucking garbage. They're fucking garbage. All of them.